Why don't I just start this discussion with the basics, the building blocks of this conversation, this subject matter, and of course is connected with my my new religion that I've announced, that I'm talking about and inviting people in real life, not by video, because it can't be done by video. See, I'm just letting you know the obvious, and so you know that I'm totally sane and reasonable. The video can only just talk about things almost like theological, which is another way of saying the philosophy behind religion and the belief systems. Subject matter has to do with two components, but actually three, within the scope of my religion. And the two things you usually don't hear taken together, but I am intertwining them. I am putting them together, like peanut butter and jelly for the first time, or peanut butter and chocolate, whatever combinations. And the first one is FDR, but everybody knows this is a famous subject. This is a very historical, rich, well discussed and well documented subject or person. Everybody knows that, but I want you to have an open mind. That's important for anything about the religion that I'm offering, but also just about this subject in particular, because it's so loaded. I really feel like people are going to take it as controversial. But having said that, maybe you do totally accept what I'm going to say to you. And if you accept it, then, more power to you, because you might be one of my kind. Second part of the subject, which you compare with FDR. And by the way, FDR is President Roosevelt from during World War II time, not his uncle-in-law. Well, actually his uncle, because they were related by like third or fourth or fifth cousins before he even intermarried into that side of the clan, the Roosevelt clan. So there's some history for you. But the second thing is reincarnation and past lives. So you're saying, whoa, these things are not taken together. I've never heard of them together before. Well, you might have heard them together if you watched a previous video of mine in the year 2009. It was first introduced as a concept, but it wasn't discussed very far. It wasn't analyzed, and I didn't. A lot of people didn't get to watch it. So, but if you look up these two things, you do a search on it, either on YouTube or Google or any other search engine, you should be able to come up with the videos, including this one. So by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what it has to do with my religion. So first, let's talk about some salient points of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Everybody knows that he was a very complex man with a lot of influence on the world. He had a high position. Obviously, anyone who's been president of the United States ever since George Washington, there are probably up to 20 or more very well-known presidents that are always discussed or mentioned when you talk about politics. And FDR is definitely one of those. The weird thing about Roosevelt is that he's always confused with Teddy Roosevelt. Just a lot of people are not educated properly. They just don't have all the facts to keep their minds clear. I think this happens a lot with the American youth now because they're just not that interested in history. But I mean, if you're one of those historically minded people, like a history buff, or you just do well at the subject of history, you know that they're totally different. In fact, Teddy Roosevelt started out with the Republican Party. So that's strange. He then converted to creating his own party, which is called the Bullnose Party, and in which the elections he lost. It was after he skipped a term and then he tried to come back, if I remember correctly. So that was in the early part of the 20th century. Now, later on into the 20th century, as the Great Depression, as they call it, was setting in, is when FDR tried to become someone in the office, and he ran for vice president at first, and he lost. So he failed on that ticket, but he was a Democrat. And he went on again to be the Democratic nominee in 1932 and became inaugurated in 1933. I believe it was January, but at that year, for that term, they changed the inauguration date. It had originally been sometime in March. So they switched it to now what we know as the January 20th inauguration date. So he actually gained 2 months on his first term, and Hoover lost 2 months. Hoover, of course, was the prior lame duck president. He, at that time, was not very popular. He didn't seem to do anything, or was impossible to really solve this depression problem. Now, he was a Republican, so you see a lot of this change over. I know the bipartisan thing was going all the way back definitely to then, and it's become solidified after FDR, where it's this bipartisan thing where they're really not very different. Back in FDR's time, it might be said that there was a fundamental difference, because he really fought the Republican forces of Wall Street and the banks and the corrupt rich class, the wealthy elite. Now, it can be said that, maybe this is just a glorification of FDR, and maybe he really didn't do much, kind of like what Obama would say in the dead letter, and if you read it, you say, oh, he's talking about all this stuff, and obviously he did a lot to put checks and balances upon the rich class, and he did so much for the poor. But today, you could definitely argue that Obama is not doing that. He's just saying that he is. So an analysis of FDR's history, you could actually possibly look for that kind of hypocrisy as we see in Obama. But I don't want to get too far into the FDR legacy, rewriting history, another perspective. I think that we'll eventually get to that, but I want to move on now to past lives and reincarnation. What it means is that all of us, or some of us as humans, have been here before, and that we will continue to return here, even after we die. In fact, death is just a new beginning because you prepare to have another lifetime from that point on. Now, in the scheme of all time in the universe, or if you just want to look at our globe of the Earth, it's a very fascinating concept. If you stop to wonder, well, I might live 30 years, I might live 70 years, or you know, whatever you're going to come up with, which you don't know. You don't know until the day you die. And at that point, you're probably not even thinking too much. You're just consumed by the whole act of death. It's not even an act. It's something imposed on you that's suddenly taken over. You're just obsessed with that, focused on it. But if you think about your whole life that you're going to lead, and you think about it in the scheme of things, how does that compare with millions, billions of years of eternity? Because that's the first major question. How much time is there? And if it's infinite, then you better believe that the average lifespan is not enough within that, because it would be infinitesimally small. Even if history was going to be 5 billion years or 10 billion, it's still just a fraction of a percent. So how can you only exist physically for that point in time and then become destroyed? Then what are you going to do? You think you're going to exist in some place and not become physical again? I mean, even the Bible has a lot of clues as to what it's saying, even if it doesn't say it outright. It implies it very much. There are many passages in the Bible. I'm not going to analyze Christianity for reincarnation, though. I'm not. I'm not going to analyze it for the Hindu belief system, or Vedic, from the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, the Gitas, which are songs or poems. I'm not going to put it into that. And I'm not going to put it into Judaism or Islam or anything. I'm just going to put it into spiritual truth of human existence. If you don't understand how possible it must be to have multiple lives, then you can't be watching this. I mean, shut it off now. Just probably shut it off. If you're that closed-minded, you shut it off in the first minute. But I told you need to be open-minded. If you haven't heard me talk about reincarnation before, then you're gonna get it through me. And it's a real teaching. It's a true teaching. I'm going to show you why this is what our Creator wants for us. We are able to learn through a succession of lifetimes. We're only able to learn about God's mystery, God's incredible, vast intelligence and entire creation, if we go through these stepping stones. Because you gradually want to increase your wisdom and your closeness and your appreciation for who created you. And you can't do that in one lifetime. Don't tell me you can, because I know you can't. I know that whatever you are aware of right now, some of it, even the most important parts of it, came from your previous lifetime or many lifetimes. Okay, you can't just learn all of this in one life. You can't. I'm telling you, there ain't no way. I can even admit that. Do you know how arrogant I am? How my vast IQ and everything, and nobody can debate that. You know, even people I grew up with, my own parents are professionals. They're literal, reputable, mainstream, bona fide professionals. All say, he's a lot smarter than us. What the hell is he doing with his life? Why doesn't he make $1 million salary? Well, look, what I do with my intelligence is I say to you, from my arrogance of knowing that I'm smart, being aware of that, I knock it down a few pegs and I tell you with humility, being humble, I say there's no possible way I could have learned all of this from being born when I was 40, 50, almost 60 years ago. There's no way. It comes from another source that I can't explain unless I take into consideration the mysterious possibility or truth, the mysterious truth, unbelievable truth, incredible, wonderful truth, the fact that I existed in another life prior to this one. So in conclusion, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is part of my religion, and anyone in the religion accepts it for what it's worth. But the main thing that's worth it is to know how you were, even if you could not know the name of who you were. There's something about it that you know. My previous lifetime, I didn't know about the things that I know now, because this lifetime is a compilation of a lot of lifetimes coming back to my memory and getting along somehow within one flow of time, one unfolding lifetime that I have right now. And this is the only one that I have as this, if you want to call it personality, this multiple personality. But I'm pretty sane, even though I do admit to having multiple personalities. I mean, you can follow any one of my conversations. Look, I've got over 4,000 videos, and many of them where I'm just talking. You can follow along, whether you agree or you can understand or not. You can follow along. I use a rationality, I use a logic. So I'm saying, with this multiple personality all coming together, everything from my past is awakening together. Things from prior to the other one, and remembering, just looking at it as this was a dream before it, this was a dream, and they're all connected in the present moment. Right now, it's so vast in what I can tap into. But I don't want to play any games here. I want to bring it back to you. You're seeking something. You are. And we can do it together. We can walk along together. We can discuss and help and share with each other, because that's what the Creator wants. Not to go out and do something crazy. No, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you to think. That's what I want you to do. Don't believe in shit and say this is my dogma and keep repeating it to me and keep, I don't care about that shit. You can't fool me with that. Have an original thought. Don't just spew out something. Do you see me following the script here? Do you see me like taking a big book and like reading out of it? Do you see me doing that? I'm talking from the heart, like a real thing in the mind is happening here. The real thing in the mind. It's real. A lot of people just have difficulty with that. They're just like, oh, I gotta memorize something. That's not thinking. That's not thinking. I asked you to have an open mind. That requires thinking, critical thinking, being critical, analyzing things. not just accepting things at face value, critical thinking, analyzing it, running it through, using rationality, reasoning, logic, using your feelings also, your intuition as to, you know, how things are there. They're emotional also, because if something is wrong in your thinking, emotionally, you will react to it also. You know, we get sad, we get angry, we get happy, we get all, you know, all these things are essences of the thought process. So I'm not going to digress. I'm going to tell you right now, I started off with two subjects. I combined them. I showed you. Here's FDR. Here's about his history. Here's about the past life process. FDR had past lives. He also has a future life. He also comes back. This is it right here. This is FDR right now, here. And I'm not telling you this lightly. I don't just come on here and fool around. I'm telling you, I can discuss it, I can back it up. We could really have rich discussion on this, because something about it makes sense. Not just something, but to you, as you discover it and you think about it, something about it will make sense to you. I guarantee you that. And if not, you know, then nothing will make sense to you anyhow. It'll be one of those things where I could talk to you about the conspiracy of FEMA camps, or I could talk to you about the conspiracy about fluoride in water, or I could talk to you about, you know, Obama's fake birth certificate, or I could talk to you about who brought down the Twin Towers. I could talk to you about why is a GMO trying to take over and the European countries are blocking it out with new laws. All these things are real, but if you can't accept things, if you can't accept that people are out there only thinking about their own gain, their short-term gain, and they don't care who they hurt, if I can't explain that to you, how are you going to possibly understand that the past life that I had was the one that I started this out with, this discussion in the video? How could I possibly? You got to be one of these people with a pure, keen, sharp, open mind. You got to be like right on it. And you my kind of people. So that's who I'm talking for. That's who I'm inviting. That's who I'm getting interested. I mean, do you think I would take it lightly that I found out that I was FDR? I mean, do you really think that I would come out to people and say, oh, here, you know, I need to do this YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm just going to like make up some crap. Do you think my conscience can actually live with that? There ain't no way. I've been on here for 7 years speaking my piece. I don't remove videos. Actually, YouTube deleted a few of them for what reason, I don't know. The one video was like, I was speaking from the heart. I was emotional that night. This was a video in 2006. And I did a video about it saying, later on, saying, why the hell did they remove this? So the thing is, I don't remove videos. I put a video out there and I'm trying to say something. Sometimes I'm satirical, sometimes I'm joking around, sometimes I'm angry, I'm focused on somebody, like when I did that last week, I talked about the Groxt and his nonsense. But here, what I'm doing is not satirical. I'm telling you seriously, when I talk about my religion, like, this is from nothing casual. It's something that I researched, and I had to ponder it in my own soul. And that I know very well my Creator, who, hey, you want to worry about me? Your Creator was my Creator, too. It's all the same. But they give me a human life, a human soul. And you better believe that I know that I'll be judged for whatever I say. I will be judged. And for something serious like this, for me to come out and say, hey, you know, I'm this president. Yeah, here I am again. I'm this president. You know, and rest on my laurels and play this game. Now people are going to take me serious because I can rest on my laurels. No. 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 First of all, if I made that up with no basis for it, no basis whatsoever, just because I want to lie, like Obama lied. Obama lied, by the way. When he first got elected, he put up all kinds of pictures and all kinds of similarity and all kinds of talks of how he was connected with FDR. Now that's a little bit offensive to me. I'll tell you why in future videos, but I'll also tell you, and people that have been watching me, you know that Obama's channel, not the White House channel because he got that later, but when he was getting elected, when he started his channel, I was the first one that contacted him. I was the first one that was his friend. And for years, before they got rid of the friends section, they had a friends. I was always there on the top of the list on his page. Every time you went to the introduction of Barack Obama to the world, there I was. I mean, do you think that that's just a mistake? You think that's a fluke? I mean, these things add up. And prior to that, prior to me, just somehow, when this huge man of today, this huge man, I don't take that away from him. This guy, Obama, I don't agree with everything he's doing, obviously, but I'm telling you, he's made some kind of major accomplishment with deals that he's been cutting. But how do I contact him first and become his friend and check out the channel and be connected with that at the same time that I become the first president of YouTube? Hands down, election, we had it for the first time, the first online community where you really showed your face. Not Facebook, this is prior to Facebook. Where you show your face, you discuss with everybody. I got elected to be the first president. How do you figure? I didn't even want to be the president. They contacted me and said, would you run? Would you run for this election? We're asking people, and you seem to be someone, a man of the people. You're discussing, you're promoting a lot of people, you're helping people, you're bringing people to the online expression of video. This is when it was new. This is when we only had like a few million people on here. Not like today, hundreds of millions. Like, yeah, hundreds of millions. We sparked it. We sparked that bonfire. And they said, oh, we want that. Yeah, we had a firestorm after that because nobody wanted to have a president, especially not me. So he's too powerful. That was the main thing. That they were afraid of my power. Here I am, doing videos. How the hell can people be afraid of my power? I'm just doing videos. I'm just talking. Are my words that shocking? That potent? I guess so. To some people, really came out of the woodwork and was like, man, I don't know. I can't deal with a president. They vote against me. Or even if they didn't vote, they got in later and they had all this to say and they protested and then you have the other side of it. People totally supported me. How do you figure? How do you figure all this? I'm telling you the facts. I ain't making up shit. I don't have any reason to. I didn't want to be president. I wasn't trying to be. I was doing my own thing, and they said, oh, here, do it, and then all of a sudden I'm elected. It was an international election. You had people from all kinds of places. I mean, granted, it was mostly English-speaking, but we did have many people from around the world come and help the community once I was operating as the president. But let's get back to well-known history of the U.S. government, as if that's so much more important. Yeah, as FDR, I did experience that. It comes as natural to me. But if you were to think that just because someone would do something in the past, they don't have to come back and do that again. Do you know that the one thing that President Roosevelt really wanted to do, but because of the obligations and the all-consuming task of the presidency, Obviously, he didn't have time. But do you know what it was? And I want you to dig for this. I want, if you are, or you might already know what it is, but he wanted to be a movie producer. They actually made a movie about it. And the movie was based on his idea of what he would make as a movie, which is actually a metaphor in itself, the script of what he was going through in his mind. I won't tell you about the script. We could talk about it at another time. This is so like fascinating. But the name of it, actually I'm not going to give you that. You dig for that. I'll let you do some of the work. I'll let you have the feeling of discovery on this. You look up what was the screenplay that FDR wrote, and you find out that he wished if he wasn't stuck as being a president, what he would do is come back as a movie producer. What do you think I've done all my life? You ask people that I grew up with. I've been many things. I've been a lover, I've been a fighter, unfortunately at the same time. I've been an eater, I've been a sleeper, I've been a dreamer, I've been an artist, I've been a government worker, I've been a carpenter, I've been a lot of things. A writer, a yoga teacher, an astrologer. I've been a lot of things. You can see them on my other channels as well. But the main consistent thing that everybody will tell you, that everybody remembers me for, is my movies. Visual moving pictures. Now it's video. Video is the same thing. Don't belittle it. Video, hey, I got 37 million plus views. Do you think I'm going to knock that? I mean, I feel something about that because I'm able to reach the common person. People that can talk with me. This is better than Hollywood. I've always loved that. I'm a movie producer of the people. So now you're starting to see. Now you're starting to understand, and you're starting to see that my religion has to do with waking people up to this, and I will be a living example to all of you. And I'm just starting now. It could take you a year, it could take you maybe 5 years to really accept what I'm saying. And it's something about it will make sense to you and you'll come to it. I guarantee you that. For those of you that get it right away at first watching this, congratulations. Favorite this video. Comment, share it with all your friends. Just remember it. I hope that through my religion, all of the people of the world will be able to understand that we have to do everything we can do with this one life to live, because what it's going to do is give us that head start for the next lifetime, because that we know if we have to die, we also have to come back. So we're giving ourselves something, whatever we do now. It makes total logical sense. The advancement of humanity will only happen when we start to understand all the mysteries of the universe. And we know we have a lot to learn. And if we haven't learned this yet, I'm introducing it to you now, and I'm saying that it's very important. My religion professes it as part of the belief system that this is very important. And I believe that we are capable of it now. I am telling you that I am capable of it. I have the ability, I have had the interest in it, and I have now the keys to these secrets. I have the secret keys. It's not like today I found out about this. This is a long time in getting uncovered and discovered. And also the fact of reincarnation was also a very mysterious thing that I came to understand. Actually, when I was a young child, it was like kind of intriguing, and I took a lot of time, a lot of years to analyze it. And then I would put it aside because I wasn't sure again. And I would analyze it again. I mean, this stuff takes time. This is all very long term, and as I said, the religion is a commitment. It's a lifetime commitment. You do not take it lightly. I've said enough. Thanks for listening. This has been an epic. If you watched the whole thing, I appreciate it. I want to get together with you sometime and discuss it in the physical. And trust me, we can go so much further to awaken your thoughts, your understanding, your love of life, and your future potential. Just the whole energy and the healing is going to be there. We just have to do it. So for now, thanks for watching the video. Like I said, comments, everything else, and make sure you're subscribed. See you soon.